All right, guys, Captain Paul here, and I'm talking to you from Mujeres in beautiful, just outside of Cancun, in a little private island, or not a private island, a pretty decent sized island. Anyway, today I want to really talk about what happens after you guys buy this boat out here. You can see like we're in the boating district right here. See all the boats over here in the background. This is kind of like a marina here, over here, and then over here is where we catch the shuttle boats. But what happens after you buy the boat? I get stuck in this, and the only reason I'm bringing this up is because I was just on a boat with a couple, and what happened was we did our yacht training, and as much as I preached and as much as I said, more than likely we all run aground. That's going to be the name of this video, running the boat aground, because there's a saying that says motorcycle riders, you got the motorcycle riders that are going down and motorcycle riders that have been down. It's the same thing when buying a boat. You got guys that when you guys buy these boats, you're guys that have run aground and guys that are gonna run aground. And what happens when you run aground, especially if you have a boat with exposed props, more than likely you're gonna do some damage to those props, and it's going to cost you a lot of money. So then what is when I say that, what do I mean? I just felt when I left the 53-foot carver that I was on, I felt these guys were incredible at driving the boat and handling the boat. But there's a lot to navigation, there's a lot to the navionics, there's a lot of things that should have been, that we discussed and we went over, but it takes a lot of practice to get used to navigating in there. And when you're in the intercoastal, it really doesn't matter. When you're in the U.S. waters, down in the Florida Keys, in any part of the intercoastal, except maybe like the Great Lakes, it's dangerous out there, and there's so much shallow water, and all it takes is to go slightly off the trail for 1 minute, and you're going to damage your props, and then the boat has to be pulled out of the water, and the amount of money that can cost you is astronomical. I mean, it can cost $4,000 or $5,000 for simple mistakes. A couple ways to protect yourself from that is to really pay attention to the boat you're buying. And if it's a keel protected boat, what I mean by that, the bottom of the keel is lower than your props, more than likely when you run aground, the boat will just come up on the keel and then you can back it off. But also those are slow boats, like 4 or 5 about 6 to 8 knot boats. Then if you want to go fast, this is, speed kills, and speed costs a lot of money, and it's usually those boats where you have the exposed props, so the keel of the boat is up and your props are down here underneath the boat. And then when you run aground, more than likely you're going to hit your prop. And all it takes is the slightest ding on a prop, and it causes a huge vibration in the boat. Now maybe at 6, 7, 8 knots, not as big a deal, but when you take that boat up and you try and do anything with it, you're going to have that vibration. And we hit these props, in the workboats that I did. We didn't really have any shallow water. We did, but we knew the channel really, really well, and we would stay out of it. And what we would get our props caught in and ding our props is when we hit crab traps. The ropes would get caught into the props, and that would take the props out and stuff like that. So you got to be careful with that. Then also, even at work, draft is everything. When you guys are looking to purchase one of these boats, you got to be very careful with your draft, because does a 3.5-foot draft, does a 4-foot draft, does a 4.5-foot draft, does a 5-foot draft, does that matter? And it absolutely 100% matters. You get past that 3.5-foot draft, you better be paying attention. That's all I'm going to say, because at 4.5 and 5-foot of draft, you've got to stay in the channel, and that channel is pretty much dredged. Most of the time, I would say like 90% of the time, that channel is dredged to about 12 feet. That's what the Corps of Engineers dredges all of the intercoastal to, and they're supposed to keep that at that 12-foot level. But what happens, a storm could blow in, it circulates sand, it moves sand, it shifts sand, and so sometimes they don't get out there to get them marked correctly. So especially after big storms and stuff like that, that can shift a little bit. You really got to kind of pay attention and really know where you're at when you're playing that game with these boats. But anyway, I just wanted to bring that up because I felt like had maybe I done 2 more days of training on the intercoastal using the Navionics, maybe we could have prevented that accident, and it actually would have been cheaper to keep me on the boat than actually let them try and go on their own and you know, let happen what happened. But again, I can only say, you know, this is from experience. I could teach you for 6 months. It's really, you know, it really is all about you. I think everybody has to run aground, because then it really makes you, when it starts costing you $4, $5, $6, $10, $20,000 to run aground, that's when you really start paying attention. That's when you really start to watch it. And while you're watching this video right here is really, you know, I can't stress it enough of, you know, you're gonna go aground. There's no question. It's how much damage you're gonna do, and you just can't help it. And that's why, you know, watching these videos, paying attention, knowing what you're doing, and that's, again, it's very complicated to explain to you, you know, a novice boater, that what you're gonna do and how you're gonna do it, because you have no clue what to do. And you know, so when I'm teaching the really greens, people that don't have a lot of boating experience out there, do not know how to run a Navigational chart, don't know how to, you know, operate the boat well. It's even more complicated, and the learning curve is 10 times more, you know, more stuff to process. So you got to really be paying attention. So really, this video is really about you, the beginner boaters. I hope you guys are watching this, and then I hope that you know, that you. Everybody tells me, you know, that I'm, again, just talking to this guy, and he's, you know, I'm not going to run aground. I go, that's not true. You are going to run aground. It's just how much damage are you going to do when you do run aground? Because we all run aground. I run aground probably 10 times. When I left for America's Great Loop, I was a Billy Badass, you know, I'm gonna boat, I'm gonna go do America's Great Loop. I don't even make it 4 hours outside of my marina, and I ran aground. So everybody runs aground. Now, I didn't do any damage, and you know, because again, I had a keel that was lower than my props. My props were protected. All I had to do was back off of it and keep going, and I was also only doing about 6 knots. So anyway, anybody has any questions, needs any help with buying a boat, looking at a boat, knowing what you're getting into before you do, please feel free to reach out. Make sure you live life with no regret. I do. Thank you guys so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Goodbye.